If you've been feeling like you're not grounded lately, it's because there's some major transits happening. I also pulled a tarot card for you that is definitely guiding towards some new beginnings. So, hi, I'm Heather Page, and welcome to the Inner Sanctum, where we bring magic into the mundane. Today, we're going to get into the transits that are going on and exactly how you can navigate them. I'm also going to share with you some of the magic that's happened in my life since we had our last download. And of course, I pulled a tarot card specifically for you that I channeled a message for anyone who's watching this or anyone who watches my channel. So, to kick things off, the question I have for you is, have you noticed how scary it can be to ask for what you want? But we always get told, like, ask and you shall receive. And then sometimes, have you noticed how it can even be scary to formulate an idea of what exactly it is that you want? So sometimes we ask for what we want and we get it, right? But then it's kind of like breadcrumbs. Like we get one thing and then there's just another thing waiting that we want next. So, for instance, like wanting someone to ask you out, they ask you out on a date, and then you're like, well, now that that's happened, I want a relationship. And then you get the relationship, and then you're like, well, I want them to tell me that they love me. And then they tell you that they love you. You meet the parents, and you're like, well, now I want an engagement ring. It's this whole path, and it always feels like the goal keeps getting moved, right? And that's part of why we always say, like, embrace the journey. It's all about the journey and not necessarily the destination. But what about when things aren't necessarily so linear? For instance, me embarking on my journey with tarot and astrology and mysticism and magic and not exactly knowing where it leads to. I'm just showing up step by step and asking for what I need along the way. So, take this week, for example. One of my friends introduces me to one of their magical friends who was taking this like super intensive course, and it was a magical course. I was like, that sounds amazing. But also, as I shared last week, I've just moved into my new place. I've got like all these expenses. So, like, shelling out for a class, no matter how exciting it is, I was just like, But I had the audacity to ask and to say, well, are there any scholarships or anything like that? And this friend of a friend offered to pay for my tuition for this class. And I accepted because I knew it was something coming from somewhere greater than me, right? So I asked, I received, and then I show up to this class, which is incredible. It was Magical Fundamentals at the School of 22 Teachings, which, if you're in Los Angeles, honestly, they have like so much online that even if you're not in Los Angeles, definitely check them out. It was incredible. It was amazing. Naha was the instructor and she was amazing. So definitely check out their website. But I take this class and I walk in with a total beginner's mindset. I had a feeling that I would probably know most of the things that they were going to be teaching, which I did, which was such a confirmation for me. And I'm so glad I went in with a beginner's mindset because I got to experience all this information in a new structure, which was very nice. But it was also very affirming for me of like, hey, I could pretty much teach this class. And so it was so affirming for me that I'm ready to step into like sharing information. And even that right there is that next breadcrumb because I asked for this thing, I receive, and then I go, oh, this is totally a confirmation for me. So now that creates a new desire because I know that I have to keep stepping forward. I know that this is the path. So let's get into some transits because this will kind of explain what's going on right now. Why this time you might be seeing a lot of synchronicities, things creeping up from your past, maybe even some things that you've let go, kind of trying to keep its hold. So Friday the 23rd, there's going to be a Pluto cazimi in Aquarius, and Pluto's gonna be in Aquarius until 2044. That's a long time. So we get this opportunity to look back to March of 2023 to June of 2023, just as some clues as to what was going on then that we can be carrying forward. For me, in March of 2023, I went to Alien Con for the first time, which was such a profound experience for me. And I loved it so much, but I definitely felt changed afterwards. And I can do another story time on that another time. But specifically, I remember after going to that event, I said to myself, I want to get off of my ADHD medication. And mind you, just prefacing this, like what I did was completely crazy, but it was what I needed to do. So I definitely don't suggest like just hopping off your medication. Definitely talk to your doctor. But for me, I've been feeling this calling. And for me, it was best just to completely cut it cold turkey. And there was a lot of consequences that came with that. I was super exhausted. I definitely was going through withdrawals. It probably should have been doctor supervised, but that's just not how I do things. Don't be like me unless you're like me. So I get off my medication. So much of my identity was wrapped up in being a smoker. I love smoking cigarettes. I thought it was the sexiest thing in the world. It was something I planned on doing till the end of time. I envisioned myself in Paris smoking cigarettes, and I quit smoking cigarettes for 30 days. I was in a relationship at the time, and my partner was like, I want to quit. And I was being a support system for them. And I was like, I'll do 30 days without cigarettes to like help with their process. I haven't had a cigarette since June of 2023. I went through such bad withdrawals from nicotine. I didn't want to smoke a cigarette ever again. I was like, absolutely not. It was horrible. It was horrible. Again, you don't necessarily need to do things like how I do. There's medications you can take. There's Nicorette gum. I completely cold turkey cut it. I had fevers and chills. I had a full on ego death at one point because I remember opening my eyes when I was waking up, and my bones felt like ice. And I remember waking up and I was like, who am I? Like when I say I was like, who am I? I mean, who am I? And then I looked around my room and I remember being like, oh, okay, I'm me. But it was a moment of like, what is going on? It was such an ego death. Also, during that time, I did 30 days without alcohol. And as some of you know, I've been sober completely since December of 2023 from all substances other than caffeine and chocolate. I love caffeine. I love coffee. I love matchas, and I love a good energy drink every now and then. So for me, I think that ball that got set into motion was a lot about letting these old arbitrary identities go, and also the mindset that came with them. It was a lot of, I need this stuff in order to function. And I remember thinking, what if I were to, instead of trying to take medication and do all these things to fit myself, maybe into shapes that I don't fit into naturally, what if I made my life in a way that I don't need to do all these things to fit into it? What if I shape my life around me? And that can be really scary. And it's also a process of trial and error, but it is so worth it. So I ask you to look back to that time, go through your camera roll, see if there's anything that gives you any sort of clues that were going on during that time, and see if there's any clues that affirm your path forward. On Monday, the 26th, we have another major transit, which is Neptune going into Aries, which it will stay there until 2038. It has these 14-year cycles. And boy, oh boy, did this week show me. Sometimes even I can doubt astrology. It's like one of my favorite things, but even I can go, I don't know. I think it's my Capricorn moon, which is funny that I explain it that way. But I could even question it. And this week really, really hit home for me how much this stuff makes sense and is practical. That magical friend that I was talking about earlier that introduced me to that class also invited me to this other event. And I walk into this event, and there's this person there who introduced me to this other spiritual path. And I hadn't seen them in probably 14 years when I first met them. It was a full circle moment from when Neptune entered Pisces. And I, as a Pisces, am so grateful. If you're also a Pisces, this is going to be such a good time now that Neptune is really stationed and in the mode of Aries, because it was too much. It was fun. It was fun with problems, and then it was just problems, honestly. Having Neptune in Pisces was just too much. It was too much. And I'm so excited for all the new energy that Aries is going to bring into it. But yeah, with Pisces and Neptune having that relationship together, like Neptune ruling over Pisces, it was just too much dreamy depths of the ocean, far out energy. And now it's time to get into action, get into fire. And what's funny is we forget that fire is spirit as well. It has this spiritual energy to it. So even though Aries kind of gets a bad rep, I mean, it is the god of war, right? But also, there is this like spiritual aspect to it, this spiritual fire, this spiritual newness. Aries is always this new energy. And again, like Aries gets such a bad rep, but they're really fun people. So, with all this energy going on, I pulled a tarot card for us in this channel so that you can have some guidance on like how to move through these transits. Of course, sit down, look at where you were, be open to signs, be open to coincidences, be open to synchronicities. So I pulled the Fool for us. And I love this. Oh, by the way, this deck is adorable. This is the Paws tarot deck. I love cats. I love cats. I love cats. I have two cat themed tarot decks, but I wanted to keep it cute today. I don't know why, because I have some pretty intense tarot decks, and for some reason I was like, let's keep it cute today. So we have the Fool, and what that's signifying of moving through these transits is having that beginner's mindset that we mentioned earlier. Walking into things with a new experience, unfazed by maybe all the things that the previous transits have shown us, but being able to walk forward with this new, energized breath of fresh air, honestly, which we all need so much right now. The Fool is an act of faith and also following your instincts. That's what the little dog symbolizes, is following instinct. And I'm going to share with you guys a little secret about the Fool. The Fool is just as powerful as the Magician. He has his wand in his own way, carrying his little knapsack. That's a wand. The Fool just doesn't quite know yet the path. Doesn't have all the tricks, and that's why we do go into the Magician card next. But what's beautiful and not as well known about this card is that even though the dog is warning him, like, yo, you're about to walk off that cliff, what we don't realize is that the Fool can fly. So I ask you to look at your life and where you can have a little bit more faith. Where can you have that Dumbo sense of, I'll just fly? Where's your magic feather at? And if you have to fake it, that's fine. Oh, it's funny. I was talking about a Dumbo magic feather. There's his magic feather right there. I never even noticed that about this card. Even I'm learning something new today. So I invite you to embody the Fool. There's even more mundane ways to embrace this card right now. And it could be something as simple as, with all the things that are going on in the world, listening to some stand up, having a good laugh with your friends The other day, one of my friends was really going through it, and we just sat on our couch and laughed for hours. And it was so nice just to be in joy and honestly just like childlike wonder for a little bit, because it's so easy to get bogged down by the world. And just getting to have those moments of reprieve where we just get to have some fun. If maybe it's not having a laugh, maybe it's being creative, maybe it's looking back to your childhood and something that you loved, whether that was making friendship bracelets or painting or singing in your room alone to your favorite songs. Embrace some of that energy as we have this newness energy. Also, I want to give you an affirmation that you can use. I love using affirmations. It's one of my favorite spiritual tools. It is one of the most powerful magical tools you can use. It's so simple. The affirmation card that I pulled for us, for you, for me, is I always focus on what I can do and what is within my power. All solutions come from there. It's so perfect paired with a fool, because all the fool can do is take one step in front of the other. If you're curious where I got the affirmation from, it's from this Mindful Affirmations deck. I love this deck. I actually got this in a gift bag, and I love it. I always have one of the cards up. It's amazing. This is not even sponsored, by the way. I just genuinely like love this deck. Please sponsor this video. I would love that. You and Paws Tarot. I'm definitely curious, so comment down below what sign your Pluto is in, your Neptune, what houses Aquarius and Aries occupy in your chart, and if any of this is resonating with you, if you have anything kind of harkening back to that March-June period of 2023 or some cycle that began around 15 years ago, please let me know in the comments. I always love knowing what's going on with you guys because you're aligned, you're initiated into this with me, so I love hearing about what's going on with you. And if you want help navigating your chart, you can get a private consultation with me. There's a link in my bio for more information. And please like and subscribe and even share this video with your friends so that we can build our community, so we can build the inner sanctum and bring more magic into the mundane. And also stay tuned for next week, where we'll be diving more into the transits that are coming up, do some more tarot, and we might even get into some spell work next week. Thank you. Bye. Have a beautiful week.